Alright guys, so this isn't exactly professional. Thanks to a TV tray and a Tervis water bottle, I am making this video. I was gonna just send this specifically to one person, but after I thought about it on the way home from work, I thought this video needed to go out to everybody. The specific person, who shall not be named, for a lot of reasons, was just curious in their own happenings, if they were crazy or if they were just losing it. If they were the only ones, you know, obviously they knew whether or not there's other people. I mean, it's not like you can't Google, but at the same time you still feel alone unless you know somebody, right? So I sent immediately, like, are you fucking serious? Like, I was very, like, whoa, really? So I was very excited to hear somebody else had my problem. I have an issue with having dreams come true, ranging anywhere from the mundane, doesn't make any sense, to life and death, to actual death, to just all over the board. Throughout my entire life, I'd say it's plagued me, but it's also been a blessing in a way, because it makes me realize that I'm either doing the right things, or this is just the path that I'm on. I'm going down the right path, or a path, or I honestly don't know. I'll go to the very beginning, and explain each dream as I remember them, and when they happened, and how important they are. So the very first dream I ever had, I was 7 years old. My dad had just met his girlfriend Donna, and they had been together a little bit. I'm not too sure, because I was 7, how long they were dating or anything, but we were about to go on a camping trip. Me, Dad, Donna, my brother, and her son, Joey. And I didn't know this, you know, I was, you know, just knowing I was going to go to Dad's, whatever. Well, I had a dream. Now, I had never swam before, never had an experience in any depth of water besides a bathtub. And in this dream, I was in a body of water, and the water slowly went over my head, slowly. And I could feel myself suffocating in the dream, drowning, like I couldn't breathe. And then I woke up screaming, like just in panic, couldn't breathe at first. And then my heart's racing, and then I scream, and then, you know, whatever. Well, my mom obviously knows something's wrong with me, asked me what happened, and I tell her I had this dream that I was drowning. Well, 2 weeks later, we go on this camping trip. Now, my mom had told my dad, you know, don't take them to the pool, because I fucking know there was a pool at a campground. I didn't know any of that, but my mom did, and Dad's like, no, I'm not going to take them swimming, whatever. Well, we were leaving the camp early because it was going to be a major storm. So Dad decides we're going to go to the pool just for a short time. It's not going to be that big a deal. He put us in the kiddie area. I was watching my little brother, Ruben, and Joey, which is Donna's son, and my brother darts it for the adult pool. I mean, darts it. I mean, he runs for it. He goes down the, you know, the ramp into the adult pool, you know, like they have the gradual into the pool ramp. And I remember him going in there, and I'm like, oh my God, no, I know he can't swim. So I go in there, and I go to get him, and the water slowly goes over my head, and then my brother, who is shorter than me, jumps on top of me, and I go completely black. And my dad said that he had never run so fast in his freaking life. He was at the other end of the pool. I remember seeing Dad and Donna when I ran to go get my brother on the other end of the pool, and my dad ran for it through that water, and I woke up on the side of the pool. Like, I was gonna, you know, be unalive at that point. So, that was my first dream. It was just very simple, but obviously very important. My mom tried to warn him, like, I know this is weird, she's 7, but she had this dream, and you guys are gonna go to the campground. I know there's a pool there, please do not take them to the pool because of this, and it happened, right? So, fast forward, you know, you have a couple, I've had a couple, like, really small, meaningless dreams that came true at this point. I think something about a bird. It was just at my grandma's, and it was a hummingbird or something. It's just, like, little things. Nothing that I can specifically, like, this changed my life or anything, or was that meaningful at the time, so I don't remember the timeline or anything, other than I remember it happened. So, fast forward to when I was in high school. Now, I have to put a little backstory in. I was homeschooled for several years. I think it was almost 7 years. And so I decided to move with my dad and go to high school. Now, when I have this dream, I'm homeschooled, going to church up in Bloomington, living with my mom. I have this dream. I'm walking down an aisle of DVDs, and it's just like I'm walking straight down this aisle, and I see this Mohawk kid, this kid with a mohawk, you know, straight mohawk, glasses, baggy pants, and he looks up at me, and he goes, "Hello, Rita," and then just walks past me to the left, and I'm like, what the heck is this kid? Why am I having this weird-ass dream, right? So, about a year and a half later, I'd moved in with my dad, stopped going to church up there, moved with my dad, started high school. First school I've been to in, you know, it's almost 7 years. I had never been to, never lived in Princeton, never had any connection with anybody in Princeton. I was 2 hours away. And so I'd moved in there, whatever, gone to school. We go to Best Buy on Black Friday. Black Friday afternoon, so it's not super busy. There's some people in there, but it's not like crazy like in the morning. So we're walking around to see if there's any deals on stuff, and I'm like, oh, Dad, I'm going to go look at the DVDs. Like, I'm going to see if there's anything cool over there in the CDs and DVDs and stuff. And so I go over there, walking down the aisle. I see Casey Crumley, if I remember his name correctly. Casey Crumley, Mohawk kid. Looking at the DVDs on the left of me. Looks up at me, says, "Hello, Rita," walks past me. My brain fucking exploded. At this point, I was racking my brain as to how I knew this kid before I knew this kid. How did I have this dream a year and a half ago? And I run to my dad. I'm like, "Dad, I cannot explain to you how crazy this sounds. But this happened to me just now. I had this happen to me. I saw this happen. I was going to be here. This is weird." Like, I'm, freaking out, right? I just turned 18 at this point. Like I said, all this crazy stuff's happened to me in that time period. And I'm just like, I go from being a Christian, homeschooled, didn't hardly know anybody outside of church person, period, to living with my dad, going to high school, and I knew this kid starting of the year in 2006. So the dream happened in 2005, and then this happened in 2006 in the fall. So how does that happen, right? Really freaked me out. So we go from that to, I'd say, I'm 19 years old. I had to have been 20 years old. I was 20 years old. I have this dream where I'm kind of over a checkout area, right? I'm watching down, and there's 4 girls, me included, so there's 3 other girls, and we're talking. And in the dream, I'm talking to these girls, and we're talking about boys, and like, this and that and the other in their relationships, and they're like teenagers, so they're a little bit younger than me, but not too much. And we're just chatting about stuff, and we walk off. Lights are shutting off around us, right? Like, we're in a store, right? I never worked in a store. What the heck? So, I'm thinking, I don't know these people. This is weird. Like, it's just some weird, maybe I saw a movie scene or something, right? So, about a year and a half later, I have this new job. I'm married. I know a bunch of people who work at this job. there's a night when we're all closing up, and I'm with these group of girls, these 3 girls, and we're talking about boys, and I'm walking away from the cash wrap, because we're at Sears, and we're all dressed in these white shirts that I remember in the dream, and it's the girls from the fucking dream, and the same sentence that came out of their mouth, the same conversation happened, and I was like, and the lights are shutting off around me, and I'm like, this is not happening again. What does it mean? What does this even mean? It doesn't make any sense. I never met any of these girls. I never even thought, I hadn't walked into Sears since I was like 5 years old at this point. Like, it had to have been before I had recollection of it. Recollection of Sears, right? I mean, I had to have been so small that I don't have a memory, because my first memory of walking into that store was when I put an application in 2009, right? A couple months before I turned 21. Right before that is whenever I just met my husband when I got with my ex-husband like a month or 2 before I started Sears, that month, it was that month. And then the dream happened the year before I'd talked to him, before I talked to his sister, which is how we got connected, before any of that stuff, before I had talked to her. Again, we were friends in church and stuff like that. But I had not walked in that store. The only reason why I even put an application to that store is because she worked there. She worked in the optical department. And I was friends with her. And she's like, oh yeah, you can go work at Sears. We can work together, blah, blah, blah. And so that's how it started. I didn't know any of these people beforehand. Like, none of them. It just blows my mind, right? So at this point, at this point, this is just my life. Like, this is just going to happen to me, right? Randomly. The next one is the big one. This next one is something that changed my whole life. So, in fall of 2011, I had a dream. Now, I was living with my ex-husband at this point. Nothing crazy going on in my life besides him, because he was nuts, abusive, and all that fun stuff. But I had this dream. In this dream, I'm sitting on this little ottoman, right? Just sitting there. My mom's piddling around an apartment, right? Place I'd never been. Just piddling all around the apartment. And she has a pink scarf on. This pink scarf is uncharacteristic of Mom. She never wore anything in her hair except for a barrette to pull back like this. That's all she ever did. As long as I was alive, anyway. I don't remember seeing pictures of her in a bandana. Nothing, right? She's wearing this pink bandana. I'm like, it's weird. So she's piddling around the apartment. All I know in the dream is that I am furious. I am angry. I am the angriest person, like, the angriest I've ever been, right? I'm just so angry. And in this dream, I stand up and I walk into the hallway and my mom hugs me. And she says, you and your brother need to take care of each other. You need to be there for each other. Not, not like our family's been in the past. You need to take care of each other. And she tells me she loves me. And all I think in my head is, I'm so mad you're leaving me. I'm so mad you're dying. But I don't say it out loud. And then the dream stops, right? So mind you, this is 2011 in the fall. Right? I wake up freaking out. I mean, just freaking out. My ex-husband says, oh no, you're just anxious, you're worried about your mom, this and that and the other. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's wrong with her. There's nothing happening to her. So go to sleep. Like a month later, my mom gets in a car crash. Rip her out, jaws of life type of thing. She gets T-boned. They have to cut the car into pieces to get her out of the driver's seat. She's in horrible bruises and everything, but she's alive. Out in front of a stupid Dairy Queen getting biscuits and gravy. So, it's very characteristic of Mom. She loved their biscuits and gravy. So, would go in the hospital, and this comes to my head. I'm like, maybe I was crazy. Maybe that was just what that dream was, that she got in a car accident, right? And I was just like feeling that there's something was going to happen. So I put in the back of my head, well, my mom finds out like within that month, within that week actually, she gets results back for whatever from the doctor, because they ran a bunch of tests on her. It turns out that she has breast cancer. After their examination, scans, blood draws, everything, she has breast cancer. Well, it was pretty obvious from what I've seen when we went to the cancer center of her breast that it was obvious something was very wrong. But she had no insurance. She didn't have any means to take care of anything. She just thought, you know, at this point, what am I going to do? You know, whatever. So now she goes through and she starts chemo. She makes it through like 5 of the 6 chemo treatments, right? She's on her 5th chemo treatment. Me and my mom, at this point, this has been months. This is in June 20th, if I remember correctly. On June 20th, we hang out. We go shopping together. I go to Best Buy to pick up something. And on the way to where I'm living at this point, and I'll explain that in a second, my mom tells me that she's going to have no place to live. You know, my brother can't stay there. Him and his fiance want to move out. She has no job at this point because they fired her for taking her chemo treatments on Fridays, and because they wanted her to work Friday every month. I think she had to take it on the dot, right? You know, there's no rescheduling that when she started. So, or at least they made it seem like that at the cancer center. So, she has no money. You know, my brother's living his life, and I get it. But I am furious. Because what is my mom going to do? You know, what are we going to do? I am so angry. The anger is just flowing through me. I mean, I just am so mad. What's my mom going to do? You know, I'm freaking out. And so we pull into what is now the apartment that I live in with my girlfriend. I go in, go to the bathroom, come back out, sit on the little ottoman in the apartment. My mom, who'd never been in this apartment before, is just trying to help clean up and do stuff, you know how moms do. And she has that pink scarf on, but it doesn't hit me. Until I stand up and I give her a hug and she starts telling me, whatever happens to me, take care of your brother and love each other. Don't wind up like the rest of the family who doesn't take care of each other. And then it smacked me in the freaking face, and I couldn't say it to her. That this is that dream that I had before we knew anything, before she had the cancer, before she got in the car wreck, before I'd moved into this apartment, before I met this girl. Before I met this girl that I was dating and living with. I had never met her. She didn't move into that apartment until February 2012. I didn't move in with her until right after that. So all of this, for what? You know, you wonder, like, why have these dreams that mean something but don't mean something? They tell you something, but what are you supposed to do about it? You can't prepare for it, you know? What are you supposed to do about it? So, all of this, I guess, is just to tell me I'm on the right path, or on a path, or is it to warn me? I've had dreams since then that have scared the crap out of me, but do I focus on them? Do I see them as something that's going to happen? I mean, I started journaling some dreams, but I don't know when they're going to happen. You don't know when they're going to occur. You know, one was 2 weeks, one was a couple years, one was, you know, a year and a half, one was a year, like, 8 months. I don't know how to figure out when things are going to happen. But you feel nuts. You feel crazy. You feel like, what is wrong with me? And you get people who tell you, you know, it's a gift from God, and what am I supposed to do with it? You know, like, what is this I'm supposed to do with? How did I dream of people and places that I never been in, that I never stepped foot in? How did I do that, you know? And what was the reason? And see, this is the dilemma that I'm in, and that this person is also in, that I'm trying to get this message out to. But to anybody else that is having this issue, I just want to say that you're not crazy. There's something that you are connecting with that doesn't, you know, I don't think that science can understand it. I could sit there until I'm blue in the face and talk about how real it is to me, but how are you supposed to study that? How are you supposed to induce that? How are you supposed to make that happen? It just happens, you know? You can't, like, scientifically study something that just randomly occurs and randomly proves itself, you know? There's no, like, rhyme or reason to it. I didn't eat, like, a certain kind of cheese and then I had this crazy dream. Like, it just randomly occurred, and I can't explain it. So, one thing I have learned is that what it's called is called Deja Vu. You know, everybody goes, oh, well, knowing something's going to happen, thinking you felt it before is Deja Vu. Deja Vu means that you did not see it occur. You have a gut feeling. You feel that you've been here before. You have this thought like, oh my God, this feels so familiar, right? Like, as soon as it happens, you're like, whoa, it's familiar. Deja Vu is when you've actually seen it play out. Frame for frame, word for word, or something so specific that the detail is too specific not to be exact, right? So, to me, that means that there's something to it. Deja vu, like, it could mean something, but it's way less detailed, way less, like, focused, like, way less, it just doesn't seem as accurate, right? But deja vu, when you've seen something like a movie reel play out in your head, happen again a year later, for the first time, people you've never met, places you've never been, it literally blows your mind, and it feels like you've already lived that. It feels like you've done it again, because you did do it once in your head. It is like a memory for the future, and it's like really weird. But it's called Deja Vu. If you want to look it up, I've read a little bit about it, but I don't know what to say about it other than, if anybody feels like they have very significant dreams, write them down. Make a journal. Wake up in the morning and type in your notes on your phone. Just immediately after you wake up and you feel like that overwhelming urge to remember it, before you forget everything, write it in your notes on your phone. Send yourself a text, whatever. Send yourself an email. Tell your significant other so that at least there's a witness, right? Like, give somebody that to where when it does occur, you know what it is you actually remembered. And I just don't know what to tell you to do with it. That's the one thing that I have not been able to figure out. Not yet anyways. So, if anybody has any suggestions, please leave it in the comments. If you want to send me a message or whatever. Any suggestions on what to read, how to figure out what can help this person that I'm also trying to send this message to. I'm sure they also would appreciate it. But it's freaky, man. I hope y'all have a good day, and stay safe out there, I guess. Talk to you later.